Goodness gracious, guys. Last week was a complete meltdown. Look at that sea of red. Such a sell-off week. I was stuck in the Baba play, Alibaba, and also SMCI play. I was hoping that they were going to, you know, make an upward move, but no. I think there was some CPI news or something from the Fed that kind of like tanked this. But then I also saw another YouTuber talk about the fact that how money flow, especially when last year there was, you know, concerns about the markets over in China and, you know, its economy kind of, you know, having troubles. So most of the you know, smart money or the huge whales, they kind of, you know, literally just took all their money from that market and rolled it over to the US stock market. And so at the end of last year, we had like such a huge bull run. And now it looks as though like they've taken that out and moved somewhere else. So there's a rolling of kind of like these huge whales, like their money rolls from place to place to place. And if you can track where it rolls to, you know, you can trade there with, you know, quite good gains. But like I said, last week was like a bloodbath. Just look at that, a sea of red. Geez, I hope it gets better this week. I'm going to chart the charts for you later. Hopefully I can make my money back with Alibaba. As I say, you should be quick with these. You know, had you kind of, you know, seen that it's turning against you, like I say, your stop loss should stop you out. But then it still stops you out at a little bit of a loss. And so that happened to me on both of my trades. So today I'm going to see if those pick up again and then I'll get back in. But you could like pivot at that point and, you know, sell off with the market and do put options. But I wasn't, you know, in the right frame of mind to trade that on a Friday because, you know, Fridays are like your upbeat days. I'm not in the mood to trade, you know, down markets on an upbeat day. So, yeah, I kind of like just gave up when it stopped me out. And yeah, so guys, I'll get back into the charts and trade it for this, chart it for this week for you guys. Okay, bear with me. Hi guys, so here we are in the S&P 500, the SPY. So I'm going to have a quick look to see what it's doing for the day. So on the daily time frame, as you can see here, guys, I have my support and resistance, as I say, those these zones here that you can see in white, these are support and resistance. So on the daily chart, let's just quickly look at the weekly chart. Okay, so on the weekly chart, you can see it's between the Bollinger Bands and it's on the upper side of the Bollinger Band, meaning you can definitely bet that the SPY over, you know, months and years just continues upwards because the US market, you know, is quite a strong market. Like, don't give up on the, you know, the 500 top stocks in the US. It's a strong market, the US market. So it keeps going up year after year. And this is why people invest in it. But it has pulled back quite tremendously. As you can see here, guys, it's pulled back over, I think this was last year, December 2024, it pulled back until the end of, well, the start of this year, it's had a pullback. But on this candle here, starting the weekly candle, the 13th of January, it's back on its uptrend. So it's gapped up, as you can see on the weekly candle, and it's making its way back up. And obviously from there, we definitely had on last week, the, you know, on 17th February, we have, you know, the pullback week. And this week, you can see it's above the I think that's my 5-day moving average. No, it's my 14-day moving average, that one. So it's sitting above the 14-day moving average, that yellow line. So it's making its way up on the weekly, and on the daily you can see it there. It's hit the top of that trend line, that downward trend line, that red downward trend line. It's hitting that, retesting it. So for the whole of last week, it's been dumping. It went to its highs of about 613, and it's just like dump, dump, dump. It's like a major sell-off. And now it's hit a really good support with that reddish pinkish line there. That's my 200-day moving average. So in the average of, the average of 200 trading candles, it's holding. And there's a confluence because it's holding with that downward trend line as well, that red downward trend line. So it looks as though today it's going to carry on, like, making its way back up from the pullback. So if I have a look at this pullback, guys, let's just see how far it's pulled back since the 20th of February. So yeah, it's pulled back like at least 12%. That's like quite a decent pullback. Hopefully that should be it for this week. Hopefully it should just be carrying on, up, up, up from here, depending on the news, obviously. But you can see on the 4-hour, it's hit the bottom. So the confluence is good because it's hit, that bottom trend line, and it's holding. And as you can see earlier, it's hit that 200-day moving average, and it's hit the bottom of the Bollinger Band. And it's obviously working its way back up again from, the 600s back up to its all-time highs of 613. The top of this Bollinger Band is 616. That's kind of like, the top that people have for this at the moment for the SPY. So in the 1-hour chart, guys, you can see it's progressing. It's making its way. But there is resistance here, guys, at 605. Between 605 and 606, there is resistance. So it could, like, hit its head, pull back, and then break through. Or it could, depending on the news, I don't know what's in the news for this week. I'll check in a minute. But it could hit resistance and then bounce between. It could just bounce. There's a few things it could do, okay? So it can hit resistance and then make its way, break through this resistance here at 606. Or it could hit its head, bounce on this support, hit its head, and just range for however long it wants to range. Or the third one is it could hit its head, fall down to support, fall through support, and go back down to this end of this Bollinger Band here, or hit this red downtrend resistance line here, and then bounce again up, or just fall through. So there's a few scenarios that can happen. On the 1-hour, there is like this pattern that can play out. Let me just draw this out for you. Sometimes this pattern can play out as well, whereby it can come down. Let me just change this a second, guys. So it can come down quite drastically like this, make this kind of upward trend move, but then keep going down. It could do that, and it will be the exact distance that it came down initially. It will have a pullback and then keep going down. So it could have that potentially, a pattern that could potentially happen. Yeah, so that's another thing that can happen. So keep an eye out on the SPY, guys. It is very news dependent. So it depends what's going on with the Fed and what they say, and global news and Trump's tariffs. It could really affect the SPY, and obviously the top 7 Magnificent 7 also affect, and NVIDIA is the biggest one amongst that to affect SPY. So SPY basically does what NVIDIA does. So if there's good news for NVIDIA, you could expect the SPY could, break through that resistance and make a bit of its move up. But if NVIDIA tanks for whatever reason in the news, then SPY could do the opposite. So yeah, okay, so moving on. As I say, let's just have a quick look at GameStop, because people are saying that, you know, it's in a point where it could squeeze at some, whether it squeezes, you know, a mini squeeze to $50. I'm just keeping an eye on this. So it looks as though it's in quite a good pattern to squeeze, if it was to have a little squeeze. Okay, so SMCI, super microcomputers, guys. This was the play that I had on Friday, and it completely like melted on me. So if I try and find where I was on the weekly. So hang on, was it the day? Yeah, the day. Can you see here, guys? Look, this was the play that I was in last Friday here. There was there was a slight pullback, but I thought it was just a small pullback and it will carry on going up. You know, I had a sell zone. You can see this green box I have above you at about 60, roughly between 60 to 70 to $80 would be the sell point for SMCI. You know, it's next point of resistance. So I was going into that thinking that it would continue that way. But look at this. What ended up happening was it just completely tanked. The market, the whole market overall just tanked on Friday. Every single stock, every market, the Forex, I think, was like going through a sell-off as well. So I got stopped out. So I'm going to like jump back in now that it's like pulled back. And it's pulled back to that yellow line, that moving average. Let me just see what, yeah, it's the 5-day moving average. So it's not too bad of a pullback, but it has pulled back to that 5-day moving average on the daily. And as you can see today, it's starting to make its move back up from $56. So SMCI moves, as you can see down here, the average true range moves about just under $5 a day. So add $5 to 56 and you'll get kind of like the top out for what SMCI could be today. So I'll be finding a good price point to jump in, buy low, sell high, because we're in a downtrend. So I'll try and get in at a very low price point, 56 or something like this, and ride it $5 up. But in options, that's like, you know, you could get up to crazy percentages of gains, you know, 200, 400, 600% gains on that. So could be, you know, a $5 move is like tremendous with options. But I'm going on this 4-hour chart, I'm going to have to draw in this line that I've just seen. Looking at this chart, guys, look, hang on a second. There is like this line here. You can see it's trending down. Can you see this line? Like if you can connect more than, you know, 3 points, 3 points is quite, you know, solid, but if you can connect more than 3 points, you've got quite a decent trend line that you can depend on. So there is this downward trend line that I can see right now. So really, I may have to, like on, let's see what it looks like on the 1-hour chart. Yeah, can you see, guys? There is this downward trend line. So I'll have to wait to see if SMCI can break through this trend line. If it can break through this trend line, guys, this red downward trend line, then, and give a retest. So what I'm trying to say is this. Look, let me draw it out for you. So if SMCI can come up here, and if it doesn't break down, like if it can't break through that, and then it will just keep going down for the day. But if it doesn't do that and it retests, so my 2 points of entry, if I was going to get back into SMCI for today, I'd wait for it to retest, because this will be like the lowest point here. Let me just mark this out so you can see. So about 57, if it retests at about 56.98 or 57, I can come in here. And if it retests, as soon as I see a green Heikin-Ashi candle, then I can like buy in here and then, you know, ride up about $5, hopefully. That's its maximum true range for the day. And, you know, make my gains on SMCI that way. Okay, let's move on to Alibaba, because that's the other one that tanked on me on Friday as well. So let's have a look at Alibaba on the week, guys. So Alibaba has been doing really well. All it's been doing is just climbing, climbing, climbing. Just look at that. That's because of, you know, all the quantitative easing that China's had to do, you know, to pick up their stock market. So the money's been flowing back in there. So look at that, guys. It's been rising, rising, rising. And on the 4-hour chart, unfortunately, on Friday, I caught it in this kind of crazy chop. Look, this bit here, guys, I caught it in this crazy chop. So I had to, like, you know, couldn't catch the uptrend. But it looks as though it's still making its way back up. So it's hitting... Sorry, guys, I meant here. These red Heikin-Ashi candles was where I was caught out. So it's obviously having a pullback, and it looks as though it's still pulling back on the 4-hour chart. So let me just go back into normal candles, and let's go into the 1-hour time frame. Because on the 1 hour, when you go down, you know, when you drill down deeper into its smaller time frames, you'll get more candles, and then that means you can draw like sharper trend lines to see the direction of it and like where its resistance may be. So you can see there is like this downward trend line here. There's 3 points that I can match up here. Okay, so knowing this, if I was going to jump into Alibaba again today, I'd have to wait for it again to break this trend line. And if it doesn't break it, it'll still keep going down. So that's my entry point. If it breaks this red trend line, I know it's got a good chance to go back up to, from 139 back up to, let's see, about 142. Because the average true range for Baba on a daily basis, let me just see how far it can move in a day. So right, guys, on the day, Baba can move about $5.50. So it's a little bit more than SMCI by 50 cents. So Baba can move. Look, can you see on the day it's just still tanking? Can you see that? But if you go into the 1 hour, it may just carry on tanking. So you could play puts really instead of playing calls. But the thing is, if you play puts in this kind of position, you don't want to be catching a falling knife. But if you're playing options, you could like make your options a little bit, you know, far out. So if you know it moves about $6 a day, then, you know, have your options kind of a little bit further than 6 hours, so you don't get put the options if you're playing this on the downside. Okay, so NVIDIA. Right, let's have a look at how it's doing on the weekly. NVIDIA is a very clean chart, isn't it? So you can see with the yellow bars, yellow zones where its support and resistance is. So NVIDIA also on the uptrend, guys. It's had a massive pullback, and it's you know, broken out of that, and it's moving up. But there is a red trend line that I see I've drawn in there. So it's still hitting. Yeah, so NVIDIA is still struggling with this red. And like I say, guys, always go to the line chart to draw this in a little bit neater, because you're getting like the closing prices on the line chart rather than highs and lows of a candle, which is a little bit more accurate. If I can get this to sit. Okay, so go back to the candles now. Yeah, so you can see NVIDIA is still struggling with this red downward trend line, guys. So again, NVIDIA, Baba, all of them, they've got trend lines that they've got to, you know, basically break through. But then again, if they break through it, then you know, you can ride it up, use call options or play shares. But yeah, so NVIDIA's in the same kind of like, you know, situation where it has to break through that downward trend line. Let's have a look at Tesla. Yep, Tesla's also in the same situation, but it looks as though Tesla is still showing you it's in a downward trend. So Tesla is still going down, 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 unless Elon, you know, shoots out with an amazing, you know, news about his is it called, what's his robot called? Optimus Prime or something, is it? From the Transformer movies. Yeah, so unless Elon comes out with tremendous news, I think this Tesla stock's still trading downwards for today at least. So you could still play puts with this, but like I say, it's a falling knife and you don't really want to catch those. Palantir, my favorite stock. And you can see why it's my favorite stock, because it moves so cleanly. Look at this, how cleanly it moves on a 15-minute chart. You can literally just play that back and forth, back and forth. So as you can see on the 15-minute chart, it's kind of like following its Bollinger Bands, those blue bands, lines. They're like elastic bands that go bounce from one end to the other. And the confluence of those Bollinger Bands just hits really well with support and resistance, you know, those green zones that I've marked out. So it will just go back and forth. So you can play it up and then play it down, then play it up and play it down. So those are like some good plays to keep an eye out for. Let's have a look at Big Bear AI, see what that's doing. So that's, yeah, that's still heading downwards on the 1 hour. Intel. Intel was a play that I was going to play, but then I ended up playing BABA and SMCI instead. I forgot about Intel. And the thing is, you don't want to be playing too much, because then you've got to keep an eye out on them. And if they all kind of like hit the point at the same time, it's you're going to be like, you know, a bit like a headless chicken. You don't know which one to save first and which one to exit first. So, yeah, I can't really manage 3 at a time. I mean, I can put in, you know, my, you know, sell at this price, but because you don't know how high it can go, you don't want to like do that either. So Intel's doing quite well for the day. Look at this, it's bouncing above like all its moving averages. It is heading towards the upper part of its Bollinger Band. Let's go into the 4-hour chart. So yeah, it's had its pullback and it's kind of making its way back up now. So Intel is kind of like one of those, you know, stocks that have that's waiting to be bought up by other companies. I think they're just dishing it out in parts, but that's the good news, and this is why you've had this meteoric rise back again for Intel. So Intel is still doing quite well. It's making its way back up to its higher prices that it's fallen down from. Okay, American Airlines. This was a play for options if you're going to do, you know, options kind of a month, well, 3 months out, and then try and sell it once you've made your gains. But like I say, American Airlines is a very slow moving stock. I mean, only moves about under 60 cents a day. So you really have to price that in, but people have it, you know, going possibly back up to $17, $18 to fill that gap where that purple zone is. There's a gap fill there. So, but then if you play American Airlines, like, you may have to wait a little bit longer than 3 months, because you've got a few resistances along the way. Can you see those green resistance zones that I've marked? Like at $16 and at $17, it's got 2 resistance overhead. So, I don't know. You might have to hold this a little bit. And I think if you play the options for 3 months out, it's quite, you know, you have to tie up about $200 for that. So anyway, none of this, what I'm saying is, you know, something that you should follow. It's just for entertainment purposes for you guys. Like for me, it's just, I'm just documenting what I'm trading, that's all. Okay, so Tempest AI is another good play that people have been in. And it looks as though this one is, it's trying to make its way back up to $70, $75, but I don't know. You have to like keep an eye out on this one, because it could just be a pullback to keep going further down. Okay, Bitcoin, guys. I haven't charted this in some time. I don't know what's happening with Bitcoin. The last time I charted it, it was in a holding phase. It looks like it still is. Can you see my two markers? I've got a marker at 99 and 95,000. So it's still, yeah, it's still consolidating between those two those two price points. Yeah, it's still in consolidation. It's just going ranging. It hasn't decided what it wants to do. So let me just extend this out to, hang on a second, guys. Let me just extend this this support zone. So, because it looks as though it's still ranging. So let me just extend my support zones here. So if it does drop, support is at 90 and obviously 86. Who wouldn't love Bitcoin to come down to those prices? Like, I definitely do. I mean, if it goes down to those prices, it's just going to be bought up like crazy. It really is. Let's go on to the 4-hour chart. Yeah, guys, see, it's still, can you see that massive consolidation? It's just consolidating. So there is a trend line you can draw for it to go downwards as well. You can do it better on the daily chart. And let's go into the line. Okay, so let me just draw this downward trend line for Bitcoin so it's there. And we have it there. I'll draw it from here actually. So there was this trend line here that it's holding. Okay, so let's keep it like this so we've got some hope for Bitcoin. So the hope is it can just retest this, you know, this red trend line that I've just drawn. It can retest that and bounce back up and then keep going up. And then once it goes up, the altcoins will start to follow suit. And that would be great news because, like, you know, I want my altcoins to go back up rather than just sat there not really doing very much. Because that's, every time something's just sat there, you have to remember, guys, it's like money tied up. So if you can put that into a play that's like moving, it's better. This is the thing with trading, guys. You have to realize this. Oh, by the way, just a note on Bitcoin. There was a double top here, guys, and that's why it fell. These technical analysis is there for a reason. Can you see, guys? That was a double top. Like you can see this M here, and then it fell. So yeah, that's why it, technical analysis, I wouldn't, you know, not use it. It's like it's really, really kind of, it shows you what can happen to these candles as they're following these patterns. So yeah, hopefully we get some kind of bounce on this red trend line and it will go back up to the hundreds of thousands, 100,000K for Bitcoin. Let's see what SoFi is doing. I've actually invested in SoFi. Although looking at it now, I wished I had invested it when it dropped down to 14. I invested at $15. I might move around some of my investments to buy in more of SoFi if it keeps dropping down to 14 bucks. Because SoFi is a really good play for the future. It's one of those, like, if you could jump in now at these bottom prices, it could be Palantir in the next, you know, year or so. It could jump up to like $100 and you're like, whoa, that was a great investment, you know, jump, a great investment to, you know, jump into at the time. Right, let's see what else we've got. Let's have a look at how badly because I'm also in MicroStrategy, but because Bitcoin is, you know, yeah, MicroStrategy is also ranging. I'll just show you quickly with the box picture. I think use this. Yeah, so MicroStrategy, until it breaks out of this range, it's not going to go anywhere. So there's not much you can do with that. Like I say, my investment in MicroStrategy is just hanging on for it to break out when Bitcoin breaks out. Mara is exactly the same as MicroStrategy. It's the same thing. When Bitcoin rises, that one rises. That's a good play when that happens. Otherwise, just play puts on Mara. Cisco had that great earning. Do you remember me making a video on that? And obviously from the earning there where it gapped up, it's obviously had a pullback. And now it's, you know, slowly making its way up again. So Cisco, sorry, I said earlier that SMCI was the one that's getting bought out. Sorry, SMCI was the one with the financial, you know, troubles, not kind of, you know, handing in their books on time or whatever. But Cisco is the one that's being bought up slowly. Oh, no, it was Intel. Sorry, I'm mixing all these companies up. It was Intel that's being bought up slowly. Cisco is a company that's getting an investment. They had a good contract, and that caused the gap up with also good earnings. Right, MGO Global. Okay, this one is still tanking. This one, I saw a YouTuber mention about this one, saying that NVIDIA had bought some shares in this. They were investing into this company because it's a data storage facility. So everyone's saying that this company is one to keep an eye out for, because it's just going to go up from now if NVIDIA's got its toes in it. MDJM is a penny stock. Oh, look at this. This was a penny stock that I tried to play, but I missed the squeeze. This squeeze here. But it looks as though it's looking forward to squeezing again, or it has squeezed. But I am in this Faraday squeeze play. Let me just see where it is at the moment. Yeah, I entered my position on the 21st of February. So, like I said, this is waiting for a squeeze. It could squeeze back up to $2.30. And then if it squeezes any higher, it could go up to $5 with this one. So I've got to play on this with shares, though. Shares are safe for these penny stock plays because you can just hang on. And then, you know, even if they don't squeeze, you just wait for a squeeze. And then, you know, your shares are still there so long as you don't sell out. Let's have a look at the DGen play for Trump as well. So Trump shares after the news has just tanked. So unless there's any, you know, amazing, crazy news coming from the Trump admin and Trump himself, this stock isn't really doing very much today. A quick other penny stock. Look at that squeeze there, guys. This happened on the 3rd of February, but now it's just kind of, there will be a squeeze at some point again for this, but you have to, you know, make your, well, I'd have to, like, you know, put in my target prices, and when it hits it, then I can start buying into it, ready for the squeeze. Okay, guys, that's the week update for Monday, the 24th of February. And as I say, it was a complete nightmare sell-off last week on Friday. It was a bloodbath. Everything tanked. A lot of people, you know, like myself, got stopped out. So if SMCI, or it looks as though it's not going to be heading anytime soon back up to that red line, looks like it's still, like, you know, selling off further. So it looks though there is a huge resistance there around about $60, and it doesn't like it. There's loads of sellers just like, they're just, you know, getting out of their positions, taking profits, as they say. Okay, guys, that's it for, like I say, this week coming up. Hope you guys have a fantastic trading week. If you have any stocks that you want me to, you know, chart up for you, just comment below. Yeah, my channel, basically, I'm doing a mixture at the moment of, you know, my chit chat and then my trading. If you're here just for trading, just hop into my playlist for trading. If you're interested to follow me, you know, on my chit chats as I, you know, go through my YouTube journey, then hit that playlist. But yeah, the whole weekend I just consumed myself with, you know, making those YouTube challenge videos. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed this charting for the week ahead. And happy trading, guys. Matcha tea and out.